السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أبنائي وبناتي الطلاب وطالبات الصف الأول الثانوي Senior 1. I am very happy for explaining your lessons in biology and I wish you benefit from my explanations. We start by the first lesson, macromolecules. Types of macromolecules in the human body: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. At first, we study the structural sequence of the human body. The human body consists of a group of systems. Each system consists of a group of organs. Each organ consists of a group of tissues. Each tissue consists of a group of cells. Each cell consists of a group of organelles. Each organelle consists of a group of molecules. Each molecule consists of a group of atoms. As we see, the human body consists of a group of systems as digestive system. The digestive system consists of a group of organs as stomach. The stomach consists of a group of tissues, and each tissue consists of a group of cells, and each cell consists of a group of molecules, and each molecule consists of a group of atoms. Organisms are made up of cells which contain organic molecules and inorganic molecules. Organic molecules are large-sized molecules that contain mainly carbon and hydrogen atoms and called biological macromolecules. Examples of organic molecules: lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. The inorganic molecules are molecules that often don't contain carbon atoms. Examples of inorganic molecules: water and mineral salts. Monomers are small-sized molecules that connect together by polymerization process to form polymer. Biological macromolecules are large-sized organic compounds that are made up of smaller molecules, monomers. Polymerization process is the process of combination of small-sized molecules, monomers, to form macromolecules, polymers. Macromolecules are classified according to molecular structure and functions into carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. They are biological macromolecules, polymers, that are made up of many smaller molecules, monomers, called monosaccharides, that the simplest type of carbohydrates. يبقى carbohydrates are biological macromolecules, polymers, that are made up of many smaller molecules, monomers, which called monosaccharides. Monosaccharides is the simplest type of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates include sugars, starches, and fibers. General formula of carbohydrates: monosaccharides, CH2O by N. They are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen by a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. Classification of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are classified into simple sugars and complex sugars. Simple sugars are classified into monosaccharides and disaccharides. Monosaccharides, examples of monosaccharides as glucose, fructose, galactose, and ribose. Glucose is the grape sugar. Fructose is the fruit sugar. Galactose is the milk sugar. Ribose is the pentose sugar, which enter in the structure of RNA. Disaccharides, examples of disaccharides: lactose, maltose, and sucrose. Lactose consists of one glucose and one molecule of galactose. Maltose consists of two molecules of glucose. Sucrose consists of one glucose and one fructose. complex sugar called polysaccharides. Examples or classification of polysaccharides: starch, cellulose, and glycogen. The properties of simple sugars: 1. Water soluble. Simple sugars are water soluble. Simple sugars are or have low molecular weight. Simple sugars have sweet taste. Monosaccharides are made up of one molecule only of saccharide, which consists of a chain of carbon atoms from 3 to 6 atoms. 3 to 6 carbon atoms, where each carbon atom is connected to oxygen and hydrogen atoms. Therefore, monosaccharides are considered the simplest type of sugars. Examples of monosaccharides: glucose, grape sugar, fructose, fruit sugar, galactose, and ribose. Ribose is pentose sugar that enter in the structure of nucleic acid RNA. Disaccharides are made up of two molecules of monosaccharides linked together to form a disaccharide molecules. Disaccharide consists of monosaccharide plus monosaccharide. Examples of disaccharides: lactose. Lactose consists of one glucose and one galactose molecule. Maltose consists of two glucose molecules. Sucrose consists of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. Role of monosaccharides in energy production. During glucose oxidation inside the cells in mitochondria, the following occurs. The stored energy in chemical bonds that are present in glucose molecule is released to be stored in compounds called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Then ATP compounds are then transferred into other places in the cell to use the stored energy in them for performing all the vital processes inside the cell. Complex sugars or polysaccharides. The properties of complex sugar or polysaccharides: 1. Polysaccharides are water insoluble. Polysaccharides have high molecular weight. Polysaccharides don't have sweet taste. Their molecular structure: they are made up of many molecules of monosaccharide linked together. Examples of polysaccharides: starches, cellulose, and glycogen. Each molecule of them consists of glucose molecules linked together by different ways. Importance of carbohydrates. The first importance of carbohydrates is obtaining energy. Carbohydrates are considered from the basic and fast source of obtaining energy. 2. Carbohydrates are storing energy. Our carbohydrates are used for storing energy in the living organisms until being needed, as carbohydrates stored in plants in the form of starches, and carbohydrates stored in human in the form of glycogen in liver and muscle cells. 3. Building cells. A basic component of some parts of cell, such as cellulose, that enters in the structure of cell walls. Other carbohydrates enter in the structure of cell membranes and cell protoplasm. Practical activity: detection of monosaccharides by Bendix reagents. Bendix tests: we will add 2 ml of glucose solution and then 2 ml of Bendix test. And we will make water bath for the test tube. After 5 minutes, we will see the color of the Bendix reagent converted from blue color into orange color. We will prepare 4 test tubes. The first test tube, and then we will label the test tubes from 1 to 4. We will put 2 ml of glucose solution, starch, egg albumin, and distilled water respectively in the 4 test tubes. And then we will add 2 ml of Bendix reagent to each tube. Then place the tubes in water bath for 5 minutes. Then turn off the burner. Glucose solution give positive result with Bendix reagents. The color of Bendix reagent changed from blue color into orange color. Starch, egg albumin, and distilled water give negative results with Bendix reagents. The color of Bendix reagent don't change with starch, egg albumin, and distilled water. Practical activity 2, detection of starch. Use the material and the tools in detection of starch. Practical activity. Some food samples, soya beans, macaroni, wheat, sugar, celery, bread, milk powder, tomato, pea seeds. Iodine solution and dropper. Procedure. Some substances need to be grinded, such as soya beans, macaroni, and wheat. Observations of samples. The substances rich in starch, as macaroni, wheat, bread, will give dark blue color of the iodine solution after changing from orange to blue. The little substances or the substances which contain little amount of starch, as soya beans, carrot, celery, will give faint blue color of iodine, and then the substances don't contain starches, as sugar, green apple, tomato, milk powder, will give negative results. Explanations. The orange color of iodine solution turns into blue in the samples rich in starches and remains without changing in the sample food that don't contain starches. Note the degree of iodine solution color depends on adding to the food substances depend on the amount of starches in them. Conclusion. Iodine solution is used for detecting the presence of starches in various types of food. Blue Bendix reagent is used for detecting the sugars in blood and urine, and this is the life applications of polysaccharides and sugars. Diabetic and obese patients must keep themselves away from eating sugary and starchy foods. Then, the life applications of carbohydrates. 2 life applications. The first, blue Bendix reagent is used for detecting the sugar in blood and urine. Second, diabetic and obese patients must keep themselves away from eating sugary and starchy foods.